probably are aware, within this group, we all identify ourselves in a way that we don't out in the real world, I guess you'd say. I'm a daughter. Dennis is a brother, a twin brother at that. And right now, it's my pleasure to introduce a wife to you, Joanne Shortley-Lalonde.
Better in time. Steve Shortley, my husband of 20 years, died at the young age of 37 on Flight 427. It has been 15 years since my life and the lives of my 2 children took a devastating detour from our life as a safe family into a shocking, uncertain nightmare. 15 Christmases, 15 birthdays, and 15 wedding anniversaries all came and went without him, and 15 September 8ths. For the first year following the plane crash, I needed to learn how to live without my husband. I had to reconstruct my goals, rehabilitate my emotions, and stumble my way back into society without the man who promised to be with me forever. At first it was dreadful, and then it got worse. I attended support groups where I made friends with other 427 family members. I read grief books and articles on bereavement. I even wrote my own book about how I survived being a widow without any warning. And I was a co-facilitator in a grief group where I lived in Kentucky. I spoke endlessly to others who seemed to go on with their lives after the death of a loved one, all promising that it gets better in time. Some of us needed to finish raising our children as a single parent, continuing the holiday traditions and attending school functions without a spouse. Many of us had to hold back tears while watching our children march to pomp and circumstance on graduation day, and then again while watching them walk down the aisle of a church during their wedding. Some of us experienced the bittersweet elation of holding a precious new grandchild in our arms, feeling the powerful absence of our spouse. Being the parent left behind and watching the pain of loss in our children's eyes is a difficult job, but we did it with strength and we did it with grace, hoping that someday it would all be better in time. Those who lost grown children in the plane crash have had to endure a different kind of hurt. A parent is not supposed to bury a child. It is a helpless feeling that never disappears. Those who lost siblings miss that special connection that only a brother or a sister can fulfill. And I watched as a 34-year-old daughter learn that age doesn't prepare you to lose a parent. I have concluded that there is no competition for grief in the death of a loved one, be it a spouse, a parent, a child, a sibling, a family member, or a friend. Everyone's pain is different, and everyone has the right to grieve in their own way. When the person you love dies, it tears a hole in your heart that is so insurmountable, you never think the hurt will end. When the person you love dies suddenly in a public airplane crash with the news flashing on the TV every day for a year, it's difficult to have any measure of closure. But I waited and I waited for that better in time to occur. One thing I have learned in these 15 years about understanding loss is the misleading belief of getting over it. We never really get over it. We surrender to it. We somehow cope by finding private moments to be alone with our sadness. At times we sit helplessly as the grief rips our hearts into a million pieces before allowing us to reconstruct our lives again. Those who have never lived through a tragedy like ours have difficulty understanding why we need to rehash this crushing event every year with a memorial service. They ask me, why don't we just let it go? Well, I simply just smile and I pray they never experience this type of horrendous loss or pain. I am thankful for everyone in my family and all of my friends who helped us when we felt lost. Without their love and support over the years, I don't think we could have made it. I learned that my new life can be filled with meaning, hope, and even love again. I am proud of the accomplishments of my 2 children, now adults, have achieved in honor of their father. Many of our strengths arise from the lowest point of where our grief once dominated, but we never get over it. It's a daily part of our lives forever. We learn to get through it. Someone once taught me that the only way to heal grief is to grieve. We learn that we can laugh again. We learn that we can enjoy living again. Life is only as good as we make it. But what's most important as I stand here 15 years later is that although we will never forget our loved ones, we learn that grief really does get better in time.